Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand, exploring the person behind the lawyer. Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand and Rajiv Luthra, founder and managing partner, Luthra and Luthra Law Offices, India.
Welcome to Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand, a first of its kind initiative that is personally very close to me and something that has been on my wish list for a very long time. When I started discussing this with everybody in the legal fraternity, I was overwhelmed to see everyone welcomed it with open arms, and invites were answered within a few minutes of sending them. And many picked up the phone and personally actually congratulated me for starting something which focuses more on their human side rather than on professional side. Soulful Conversations will help the viewers understand the person behind the lawyer. All of you will meet the who's who of legal world, with only twist that we won't be discussing anything legal with them in this conversation. Then what are we going to talk about? We will talk about what strengthens their core as a person. We will look beyond their professional achievements, accolades, awards, wins, or any other conventional measure of success. We would aim to understand values and beliefs that make them true achievers, digging deeper into their persona and exploring their true self. I will encourage my guests to introspect, look within, and speak their inner voice. I'm super excited to get onto this unique journey of knowing more about these stalwarts, and I'm sure all of you are going to enjoy it. I'm also pleased to share that Bar and Bench, a renowned online platform, has happily come on board as the telecast partners of Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand. On this soulful note, I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Rajiv Luthra. Sir, how are you today?
Thank you, Bithika.
All set to have this conversation.
As usual, you bullied me into this, but that's your manufacturing defect.
Yes.
And my manufacturing defect is I get bullied from you.
Good to know that I'm a bully. That works very well within the lawyers. If I was not a bully, I wouldn't get onto the elephant for the award then. So anyway, I'll be also briefly just introduced Mr. Rajiv Luthra, and I must say, sir, it is absolutely, we are delighted and so happy to have you on board, and it's our honor to have this conversation with you. Rajiv Luthra is the founder and managing partner of Luthra and Luthra Law Offices, formerly also known as LNL Partners Law Offices, a full-service, top-tier Indian law firm. He has been closely involved in the development of project finance and public-private projects worth over $100 billion. He has been recently recognized as commended external counsel by in-house community for his trustworthiness and his business-centric advice. He has been inducted in the Hall of Fame for Corporate and M&A India by Legal 500 and has been also featured in top 35 legal icons India by IBLJ. He is also a recipient of the National Law Day Award bestowed upon him by the Honorable Prime Minister of India and the Chief Justice of India. And he is also the Managing Partner of the Year Award by ALB. He also got that award by ALB India, amongst several others. Of course, he's got many of us. It couldn't fit into the pages that we decided to have it for his introduction. He has been conferred with alumni of the Harvard Law School Leadership Program and a fellow of the British Commerce Society and the Royal Geographical Society. The Bar Council has nominated him and inducted on the advisory board and as a patron of the International University of Legal Education and Research, Goa. Mr. Luthra is also the convener of the Joint Economic and Trade Committee, formed to advise the Government of India on the liberalization of legal services between India and the UK, and serves on the boards of Network 18, Media and Investments Limited, Singapore International Arbitration Center, and Symphony International Holdings Limited. He serves on a number of high-level committees, including the High-Level Advisory Group, appointed by the Commerce Ministry to formulate India's trade policies. This is a high-level and also high-level committee on CSR, and also on the advisory board of the Competition Commission of India. And it goes on and on and on. But guys, I have to start the soulful conversation with him. So I need to stop saying more, stop introducing him more further on this. So, sir, how are you? So, all set to disclose everything personal, because we are not talking legal. We are not going to ask you what transactions you did, where awards, legal awards you got, or what were all these things that you have done, on your infrastructure projects worth USD hundreds. That's not the conversation today. Conversation is about you as a person. And we'd really like to know more about it. What is it behind Rajiv Luthra, the icon lawyer of India? The journey of your life that has, you are going on, or you have completed certain parts of the journey. Can you share with us some of the kind of moments or snippets from that journey, which were kind of hard, which were challenging, and some which were very nice? So it could be both. We would prefer to have a professional and a personal, but emphasis is more on a personal journey of yours.
So I've had a very interesting career till now. Whether it's law, and I've had very different varied interests, hardly much connection. But everywhere the connection was enjoyment. Everywhere the connection was passion. Everywhere the connection was, I'll start from the beginning. I learned to sail at the age of 11. I started acting in plays at the age of 9, 10. I set up a band in school. I was the lead guitarist and the lead singer, called Set Squares. So I did many, and we performed in Rafi Marg. We performed in different places. Longest story, I won't go into all that. So many different things.
But sir, just to butt in a bit, was this during college time, school time?
School. Most of this was all till now was school. Then I finished school, got into college. In college, I decided to become a chartered accountant. So those days, there used to be what they called an entrance exam,
yes,
which I took after first year of college.
Right.
And those days, first year used to be called intermediate.
Right.
Now you have 10 plus 2. At our time, there was only 11, and plus 1 was intermediate. Right. So I took the exam. It was a very tough exam to pass because they passed only a percentile. It was not about marks.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Clearly, I was lucky because my handwriting really sucks. And those days, you had to write by hand. There were no computers. But I wrote a lot. So clearly, the examiner thought that I must have written some sense. Mujhe pass kar diya. So I became a young, probably one of the youngest in the history of Institute of Chartered Accountants, article clerk, not chartered accountant, article clerk. And I started auditing. I used to get a princely sum of 150 rupees a month as a stipend. And I used to have a Yazdi motorcycle and used to live like a king because I was one of the few people earning even 150. Everybody got pocket money. So remember, they were all in college while I was doing this. So I used to go to college in the morning. About 12:30, I would go to the my article office. Then from there on, I got interested in amusement parks. So Appu Ghar, I was the first finance director of Appu Ghar at the age of 21 or 22.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they were just being formed then. So at that time, their 21-year-old baby made a presentation to, at that time, Mohammed Yunus, the chairperson of the Trade Authority of India. and a young lady you all might know, Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I had gone to her office along with our other directors, and I made the presentation. And by the time we were leaving, we were allotted 18 acres of land at 1 rupee a year opposite the Supreme Court. Mrs. Gandhi loved the idea, and so then went on from there. Then ran into a very, very good man working in Vasant Vihar. That's where the office used to be, in the garden. I used to also go for a walk in the evening just before my late night work. And this gentleman had come to India from Japan, Indian fellow, had founded a company called Wimpy Hamburgers.
Oh, okay.
So I was the first finance director of that company too.
Okay.
Right?
So,
Old age.
So you pursued your CA thing, like,
While doing my CA, I was also auditing. We went to, places like Bukhajan, Nagaland, Manipur, Cherrapunji, all over India. And this was by third class train. So you can imagine, I'll give you one incident. We went to Bukhajan, which is in Assam. It's on the border of Assam and Nagaland. The Cement Corporation of India factory. Normally, we used to go on what they call the Bungaingao Express. They were on 2 tracks, meter gauge and the normal track.
Right.
It used to normally take about 36 hours, that journey. Normally, the train, I went about 7 times. Normally, the train was at least 30 hours late.
30 hours.
So, yeah. So when we used to get off, we'd be doing this for 2 days. It was, so I've been through a lot of these things. This was during Assam insurgency, a lot of other experiences. So the point I'm trying to make is that I did many, many, many different experiences, which youngsters really get that well. Then in 1979, I founded a company called Ibex Expeditions. This was the only pure adventure travel company in India. And it was called the slug line was making molehills out of mountains. And this was all about mountaineering, trekking, hang gliding, river rafting, blah, blah, blah. That company still exists, by the way. You can Google it, Ibex Expeditions. Went on to become in the top 100 adventure travel companies in the world as per National Geographic. Then I started hating doing audits. I didn't find that interesting at all. So when I don't find something interesting, my mind just moves away. But I found tax very interesting, arguing in it before the tax authorities. Okay. And I had rights of audience up to the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. And then from there on...
You had not become a lawyer. This was when...
No, I wasn't a lawyer. No. I didn't have rights of audience beyond ITAT, the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. So a lot of my cases, which I would win, would end up going to the High Court and the Supreme Court. I had no rights of audience before to appear there. So then very late in life, 31, I did my law, set up my law firm without a senior, and realized I didn't know much law. So then went to Harvard Law School for 7 summers to learn things like project finance, M&A, etc., etc., etc. And India started to open. This was 89-90. 91, project finance became the new mantra. And I had already studied a bit of it. So you were asking a turning point. I'll tell you. I won't name the person, but at that time, he was one of the world's most famous investors. Came to India to do 2 infrastructure projects, one a power project and one a petrochemical project, and wanted to choose lawyers. I was a qualified lawyer with about maybe 10 other lawyers working with me. And I still remember it was the Taj, the presidential suite. There was a meeting. I was called in. There were about 14 odd law firms that time in India of substance. They were all called. And I was the 14th to enter the room. And the founder of this, the main investor, the main man, who net wealth went to billions at that time, was there, and his general counsel. You know, Bithika, it's in my mind like concrete. They asked me 23 questions. 18 of them, I just said straight no. No, how many PPAs have you? I said none. They said, how many escrow arrangements have you done? I said, I've done some, but not for infrastructure projects. Like this, long story short, 23 questions they asked, 18 was straight no's, 2 was yes, I know, and 3 were maybe. So before they asked the 24th question, I thought I might just leave because apni izzat apne haath mein hoti hai. So I was getting up before they threw me out. And that's when the main investor looks at his general counsel and said, this is our man.
But what do you think was the reason for choosing you other than those?
I'm telling you. So I was also confused. I said, why? You know, Baba, are you crazy? So those were the words. This gentleman said to his general counsel, we have interviewed 12 or 13 other lawyers or whatever, 11 other lawyers and managing partners of firms. This is the first one, Luthra, in your country who knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't know.
Yeah, so maybe heard those yeses from all of them.
I don't want a bullshitter. And this gentleman then played father, appointed White and Case, their worldwide head, Gene Goodwillie, as my co-counsel, and sent him to India. And that's when I really learned project finance.
So basically, that was a really like a turning point for you to really establish this practice, projects practice.
So when that, and I don't want to tell you the name is not fair without his permission, but when the General Janta found out that I was his lawyer, everybody was at the door. So kuch to akal hogi. Itne bade investor ne who's done projects all over the world, usne isko rakha hai to kuch hoga. Then the other big deal I did that time was, we won't talk about deals and the strengths, was the Coke Bisleri deal. And at that time, it was like an iconic transaction. And I was the Bisleri lots lawyer and negotiated and did all kinds of stuff. So those are the few turning points. And then वो कहते हैं ना कि लोग आते गए.
Professional बोले आपने, हमको थोड़ा सा personal वाला भी turning point बताओ.
Personal.
You know, sometimes like there is something, things just dawn on you. You know, you aware of it, but it, you know, nothing. You know, you're not actually aware of it, maybe subconsciously. But then suddenly some things happen and it dawns on you. It could be any emotion, it could be any thought, it could be any incident, it could be any experience. You know how sometimes you're sitting and just looking at nowhere, and then suddenly something dawns on you, or some moments like that which were more personal.
Personal. So I have an amazing partner in a lady called Gayatri. She's actually a saint. I mean it, and it's a fact. Kabhi जोर की नहीं बोलेगी, कभी लड़ेगी नहीं, हर चीज को, you know, she's very, very accommodating. My secretary, Jennifer, who's been with me many, many, many years, will ring, and she's a very proper lady. She calls me Mr. Luthra even now. She'll ring up Mrs. Luthra and say, ma'am, it looks like it slipped Mr. Luthra's mind, but there are 12 people coming home for dinner today. This is at 6 o'clock, she'll tell her. And ma'am, sorry, one more thing. They want to eat Chinese. And ma'am, sorry, one more thing. Mr. Luthra will be 1 hour late. Now, these are 12 strangers coming to your house and no chicken, never. So, there was a very big matter I was involved in, and it's also another very iconic matter which I happened to lead. This was the eBay matter, where the eBay MD had been arrested. And I'm not a criminal lawyer, But I was told by Beck Whitman at that time, who was the head of eBay, to handle this matter, and it's an important national level matter. First case under the Cyber Act. And I had never, ever even seen a bail application. So, few data points. On a Saturday, I had promised my wife something, and I totally forgotten. You know, senior council meetings, Fali Nariman, Arun Jaitley, God bless his soul, Harish Salve, those are all the people we were briefing. I reached at about 11:30 at night, and there was my wife, angry as hell. Matlab, Kali Maa ki Maa. And when she told me what I had done, Bithika, I had no defense. And trained to make defense from thin air. But lawyer, have to defend.
Right.
So I said, Gayatri, I won't tell you, I'll tell you later what I did. I said, Gayatri, do you believe in the Karam theory? 600 degree centigrade temperature of the house ka 60 aa gaya. कहती, yes. And she's very spiritual. मैं कहते, देख गायत्री, मैंने तो बड़े अच्छे कर्म किए थे, तू मिली है. तूने बहुत मेरे किए थे, मैं मिला हूं. मैं तो फल हूं. फल को क्यों डांट रही है? In your last life, why did you do bad deeds? Curse yourself, not me. So that was one of the interesting anecdotes.
Yeah, so how you as a lawyer kind of justified your not being on time at home. So whatever. Okay.
She ended by saying, never marry a lawyer. And she left the room.
Yeah, you're right.
Nothing to
She's
say.
right. She's right. She's right. And tell us about any person who has really influenced you, you know, in your life, in anything that has happened or is.
That's easy. When I started the practice of law, for me, you know, since I had the good fortune of doing chartered accountancy, structuring balance sheets, time motion studies, etc., which lawyers don't hardly ever do, I realized that the most important characteristic of a lawyer is integrity and ethics.
Yeah, correct.
I never had a senior, so I wanted to learn this. I tried various things, and I discovered a young man called Fali Sam Nariman, who I didn't know. I only knew of him. And those days, there was no, computers or YouTube, etc., etc. I would go and sit in it where he was arguing. I'd go and sit in the court for an hour or two. I'd go for wherever he was speaking at a conference. I made it a point. For 5 years, I never met him. I would just follow him like a puppy dog. And I was coming back from Singapore. He and his lovely wife, God bless her soul, Babsy, they were flying back from Australia. Got into the same flight. I was very tired. And I hit the chair and I went off to sleep. About an hour before landing, I woke up and I saw Fali and Babsy sitting on my right. And I said, bloody hell, 4 hours I've missed.
Oh, what a waste.
So then I woke up and I went to them. I said, I'm so. So Fali in his own way, I've seen you somewhere. I think I've seen you. So I said, sir, I've been trolling you. So maybe that's how you've seen me. So that's where I started to learn. And then we briefed Mr. Nariman on some matters. And I learned a lot from that man, a lot. And a lot of people think that he's a carouse, he throws files, he shouts. You should watch him doing the foxtrot. He's a total Jekyll and Hyde in the air. Oh, he's an amazing human being, amazing. His sense of humor, his moves on the dance floor, and of course his courtcraft, all brilliant. I've learned a lot from that man. I owe a lot to him. Of course, his sense of humor will be, if you hear him now, say, Luthra, stop trying to blame me for everything that you are.
So he has been your mentor, and he's the person who has influenced
but
you deeply in your life on
a bit
various
like Eklavya,
various.
who did not even know, but I was just following him like a little duckling.
Mhm. Yeah, no, we have heard great things about him, great things. And so, what about if you were not a lawyer? What would you be? I know you did a lot of drama, you did a lot of singing and all that, but maybe I don't know. Maybe you wanted to be a singer or a somebody who participates in plays or becomes an actor. But otherwise, what would you have been if you were not a lawyer?
Frankly, I've enjoyed. I told you, I've met Ghat ka pani piya hai. So I've experienced firsthand, real time. But I mean, last 32 years as a lawyer have been A, the most exciting, B, also the most frustrating. So figure that out. But enjoyable. Because I do something every hour different.
Okay, today, day-to-day life, you're saying.
Yeah. And when different solutions come, when you can solve problems for people amicably and in a proper way, that high is different than any alcohol or substance.
So giving people respite or giving people the focus, or they are lost or they need guidance and they don't know what to do. Actually, it's a very great feeling. I understand what you're saying. I've also done it in some firms, and even today I do that. So to find a solution, to find, and I like that's that's something which you are so happy doing it. It makes you happy when you kind of talk to people and resolve their issues and all that. So what about spirituality? I see you a lot with Sadhguru on the social media, because I have also visited his ashram, and I mean it's not that I'm saying because I visited it and so that you are always, but I see a lot of photographs of yours with Sadhguru, either in your house or in your. Sometimes he's driving with you at various. Sometimes playing golf with you. So I don't know how you link. First of all, like, does spirituality play a role in your life?
Big time. For me, see, everybody has different definition of spirituality. I was born into it. My real great-grandfather was Anand Swami Saraswati, one of the founders of the Arya Samaj. Real, Sage great-grandfather. And I had the good fortune of spending time with him. He passed when I was 17. And I learned also a lot from him. And Sadhguru, the longest story, but Sadhguru also is somebody very close to me. I'm very, very, very fond of him. The entire family is very fond of him, but I don't blindly follow. But I enjoy his logic. I enjoy his thought process. And I've spent many, many times, whether it's in Vegas, whether it's flying a helicopter, whether, like you said, playing golf, and all kinds of things. And I've really enjoyed myself, and I'm very happy when I'm with him. We're watching cricket, going to London and watch Liverpool, Manchester, things like this. So spirituality, for me, is peace. Spirituality for me is getting used to various situations in the best way, rather than keep cribbing. If you can do this, God forbid, I'll give you another example. So in 1990, I was flying from Singapore to Delhi. I get a call from my client, Bank of America, saying that we are having a golf tournament in Calcutta. Can you come? So I said, chalo, Saturday ko chale jayenge, Sunday ko golf khel ke, and at night I'll reach Delhi so I won't miss work. I go to Calcutta, and in the Sunday morning, I get crushed in an elevator.
Oh,
crushed. Like a chicken, I got split. I was holding my left leg, ankle, say, at my near my throat.
Oh my God.
Broken in two, the leg.
Oh.
Anyway, I won't go into the story. There was a real angel gentleman called Dr. Daras Anklasaria, who had made it his life's mission to save me. Twice the ice had come. I was given up. I did not have strength, Bithika, to press the remote to change the channel. And we think we are such heavy eating studs.
Right.
I did not have, in 1 second this happened. So anything can happen anytime. Now I could crib. I could have cribbed. Mere saath kyun, Bhagwan kya ye? I don't know, it's strange. I never did that. अगर है problem, solve करेंगे, देखेंगे. करते 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 90 दिन I was in coma. I'd come out for a little while, then again back in. Come out for a little while, back in. I had almost 23 operations. And against all odds, liver cirrhosis set in because of the anesthesia. Different things kept happening. But I stood my ground somehow. So just a funny anecdote. Pehle to they had to transfer take out all my blood 19 times.
Take out all your,
Blood.
Blood. Oh, okay.
19 times because I developed what they call gas gangrene.
Okay.
So they had to remove the old blood, throw it away, get fresh blood, not from the bank. So when it was done, I had 105 temperature. I was lying in bed. My mother walks in. Bete, ab to mera khoon nahi raha. Maine kaha, Mama, ye cheez hai bolne ki.
That's a funny one.
Then my brother, who was a gold medalist in the Asian Games, at the age of 17, walked in and tells the doc, so, Doc, when will Rajiv jog? So the doc says, well, next 5 years, he'll be a bit of a vegetable. Following 5 years, he'll get walking, and then he'll jog. He says, that's fantastic. He's never jogged before. So, and those are very interesting times. Learned a lot. I realized that all of us are just the ants. And I thought I was standing on top of Empire State Building and watching all the cars going up and down, and think, why for? Why are these whole new things happening? And then I set up my firm was being set up when I had this accident.
Oh,
but
really?
on crutches, I set up the firm.
Okay, when you started the firm, this incident happened.
Yes. Just before. I mean, I started it, and this happened in the middle. And I built four offices: Calcutta, Mumbai, Madras that time, and Delhi. Had them all. I didn't own anything. I had no money. Dad was Air Force, middle class family, but slowly built it. And that 1,500 square feet where we started in Barakhamba Road, Ashoka Estate, we are in the same building even today, 32 years.
Oh, interesting, very interesting.
And that space has now gone up to, 40,000-50,000 square feet, but same building.
So according to you, spirituality, as you discussed, is more acceptance of what you are going through, right? It's accepting what you are going through in life, and not, like you said, you keep cribbing this, because even in those hard times, there's a lot of learning. It teaches you, it gives you a different perspective of life, which you will never have if you don't go through those times. So that's what I understood.
Well, acceptance is one aspect, but sorting it out, finding solutions.
Yeah.
And those always come if you have a positive mind. If you have a negative, being mar gaya, lut gaya, where will that solution come from?
Yeah, you are right. So first you have to accept it, then only the solutions will come. If you are always, like you said, cribbing and and your whole energy is focused on that you are probably, why this has happened to you, you should not have happened to, what did you do in life so then your energies and your subconscious is not going to take you to that direction of finding a solution, is what I've understood from you.
Absolutely. And what is very important is that once you start getting the solutions, your whole mindset changes and they start working. I've also had an open brain surgery. So clearly मैंने बुरे कर्म किए हुए हैं, पर अब पाप धुल गए हैं सारे. Now I have a clean slate.
Okay, all
But
right.
that spirituality was, I would say, thrust on me.
Right.
I was
Right.
born with it.
It makes you strong, like from within. I'm not talking of physical strength. I'm talking of strength from within. If you are connected to something which is which is like universe or universal, or so I think you get a lot more strength, which I think people around you can't give that kind of strength. And I think inner strength really makes you go through a lot in life.
No, Bithika, also my mother, that was her grandfather, my great-grandfather. And so she also very positive mindset.
Correct.
My wife, very positive. So, that whole environment I've grown up in. So I don't take credit for it. But like I said, I was thrust into it, and I feel even in everyday life you have problems. I'm having a series of them last 2-3 years, one after the other. But okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Now let us talk about a bit about your family. So what gives you joy when with your family? What are the things that you do with your family that gives you joy or gives them joy? Or what are the things you do with them, after, of course, doing all your transactions and law and running the large law firm like Luthra and Luthra?
No, that way I'm blessed. I have two absolute angelic daughters. And they can easily turn badmash and eat your head. But I love them beyond any point. They're 12 and 13. And I love spending time with them. We have a mountain home in Kasoli. So we then going there and spending time with them, chilling, even playing things like Ludo or chess. My elder daughter loves to play chess, and that's one of my passions too. So the younger one has got different, she loves to play golf, stuff like that. So I sometimes talk about it. We play a little bit of golf here and there, different things. Then I have a lovely nephew who's my son when we have to play with drones and fast cars and all that. And he's my younger brother's son when the PT has to go.
Oh, that's nice.
So I have the pleasure of no responsibility, but the pleasure of having a son too.
That's very nice to hear. So do you have any hobbies? Do you go, after office hours or on weekends? What do you enjoy doing?
Different things at different times. I keep getting these phases. At one time, I was very keen on Urdu Shairi.
Oh, Urdu Shairi. Okay.
Very keen, and I had a very interesting gentleman called Kushwant Singh, the famous journalist. God bless his soul.
Yes. We all know
he
about
gave me his personal book, which his choice is shairs in Hindi, English, and Urdu.
Okay.
And he would sit with me, and we were on a couple of boards together. So after the board meeting, he'd spend half an hour, 1 hour with me, discussing. Then I'm very close to another gentleman called Javed Akhtar.
Oh, okay.
So he used to be in my office. We were doing the Copyright Act that time. We were advising, and the government too. So he would be in the office regularly. And then I learned many, many things from him too, another wonderful man. And things like this. So, and different hobbies. Like I said, chess is a big one, been a constant right through.
Okay.
And whenever I get the chance, I'd love to play chess. More or less disappearing now. And then I love traveling. I just recently came back from the Antarctica with my daughters. I love going there. And now we had planned this year to go to the Arctic. But because of COVID, etc., we have pushed it back to next year. So we are looking, and I love going to Paris, to Switzerland, and all over. The only real continent I haven't been to properly is Africa.
Okay.
I've done most places in the world otherwise.
Yeah, South Africa and all is quite interesting. A lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. No, I've been to South Africa, but not properly. not the Tanzanias of this world, not all of that. So that's one area. And the Arctic, these are the two bucket lists for me.
So of course we know at least a bit more about you than at least I knew you personally as Rajiv Luthra, managing partner of Luthra and Luthra law offices. What motivates you the most? What is it that excites you or you're passionate about the most? Other than, of course, other than your law firm.
Outside work.
Yeah, outside work, inside work bhi ho sakta hai, but not say, oh, I'm very passionate about my law firm. No, not that.
See, what I enjoy the most, actually, that's a funny statement. My father taught me, a lovely man, God bless his soul too, that son, whatever you do, figure out a way to enjoy it. And he says, only then you'll be successful.
Correct.
At one time, I used to think Dad was, a little wonky in the head. How can you enjoy something called vouching? How can you enjoy something called auditing?
Right.
But he would keep saying, figure out a way. Figure out a way. And then when I figured out a way, my God, that was a different high.
Yeah.
So I started counting the vouchers I could.
Yeah, very interesting.
I started counting the vouchers I could do in a minute. I started with 2.
Started at 2.
In the evening, 2 vouchers a minute.
Right.
I reached 18 by the end of the evening, or end of the day. But just by shifting the staple, shifting the punch, shifting the files, they were all manual that time.
Right.
And by that few rearrangements, I was at 18 and I was going back home on my bike, and actually I had a song, Jojo Igara, Born to be Wild, looking for adventure. So thrilled after having spent a day of vouching.
I know, because I'm a CA myself and I've done lots and lots of vouching. Anyway, so the bit of it is, if you can also share with us any hilarious comical anecdote, which you still may think about it and you laugh about it, something really funny that has happened.
Whether it's hilarious, but there is a project called the Haldia Petrochemical Project in West Bengal. There was a $3 billion loan. The developers and the promoters, they were flying in from New York that morning, and we were to go to Deutsche Bank for a discussion on the loan arrangements, etc. A preliminary discussion. So the promoter came to the office wearing a lovely suit and an Hermes tie. I was wearing an Hermes tie, and he had an alligator bag with him. Those days they were fashion. Now it's blasphemy. And we came down. My driver, Bilawal, who we call the firm's mascot, Bill by the hour, he disappeared. We couldn't find him. So we go out on Barakamba Road, try to get a cab. We couldn't hail it down. This is, 92, 93, somewhere there. And we get into a 3-wheeler scooter and go to Tolstoy Marg, this man with his suit and me with my suit, a 3-wheeler scooter. Reach Tolstoy Marg, Deutsche Bank office, 2 data points. Their conference room is on the 2nd floor. But the main window overlooks where we had parked the scooter. So both of us come out of the scooter, and I never carry cash with me. I have a problem. So I looked at this gentleman. I said, "You got either I have dollars." Luckily, the guard of the bank used to be a guard in our office, same guard company. Came and smart salute. "Sir, मैंने कहा बेटे 20 रुपए हैं." So I took 20 rupees from the guard, paid the scooter wala off, and on the way up, I thought, shit, man, these guys have seen me, and this gentleman coming out, $3 billion पैसे नहीं स्कूटर के, और स्कूटर में है. So मैंने खुद जाके कहानी सुनाई. मैंने कहा, this is what happened. It's blah blah blah. And actually your guard was very kind. He lent me the money.
Mm.
So the vice chair, a German fellow of the bank worldwide,
Mm.
he asked the Indian manager, what is the guard's salary? It is 1100 rupees or 900 rupees or something. He said, if that man can give him a 20 rupee unsecured loan, I don't know what we are waiting for.
That's really hilarious, funny. Anyway, so sir, of course, last to end this conversation, is that, do you have anything to say to the young lawyers, and do you think, how are the young lawyers of today, the new generation, and if you have any message for them, or anything to say to them?
Well, all I can say is, of course, there's a lot of criticism of Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. I think that's complete nonsense. I think they're all wonderful humans. Every generation has a different quirk. The difference in this generation is things are changing by the year. It used to change by the decade earlier. One. Two, everything is on touch of a button. Whether it's your delivery at home, whether you're, whatever. Third thing that they're missing desperately with all of this changing and all this happening and their phones and their YouTubes, etc., is emotional intelligence,
Right.
emotional quotient,
Correct.
integrity, ethics. If they don't stay, and these are young lawyers particularly, of course, for all young people, this is important, but ethics, integrity is, you have to grab it with both hands and keep it very close to your chest 24/7.
Right.
Because if you don't, it's only a matter of time. You might as well be a smuggler or something else.
Correct.
Not lawyering. Lawyering, you have to have that. So please follow it. Anybody needs any help on giving some pointers, I'm happy. I'm there 24/7 to help any of the youngsters.
Yeah, that's very nice. And I must say, we have to thank you a lot, and I wish you all the best for your future, for you and your family and all your people who are working with. And thank you so much, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you very much, and for giving me the opportunity to air my thoughts. And I have a very, very large family. My entire firm is my family.
Yes, yes. That's why I included all that group work with you also in it.